What's going on, Jets fans? It's your boy DT back with another training camp recap video. A bit of a special one today. The New York Jets hosted the New York Giants at Florham Park for the first of two joint practices. Tomorrow will take place at the Giants facility. A couple injuries that we do need to get into, both positive and negative injuries. A good amount of notes on the offense versus the Giants defense, which was a very good test. And then a couple tweets from Aaron Glenn at the end in his press conference and a few extra notes. So, injury report right off the bat, we had six players return to practice. Quinnen Williams from the calf, Jermaine Johnson was activated off the pup and the Achilles, John Simpson with his back injury, Mason Taylor with the high ankle sprain, Kene Nwangu with the calf injury, and Xavier Gibson with a shoulder. All six of those guys returned to practice today, so a lot of reinforcements coming to the Jets, getting healthier as we get closer to the regular season. We do have 4 new injuries of note or news about a potential injury. Wide receiver Allen Lazard, a shoulder. He suffered that in the Saturday preseason game. 2 weeks, according to Aaron Glenn. That's going to put him right up to the beginning of the regular season, so we're going to see a lot of run from the younger wide receivers, Jamal Pritchett, Brandon Smith, Arian Smith, Malachi Corley. A lot of those guys are going to get more run with Allen Lazard nursing the shoulder for 2 weeks. Running back Isaiah Davis, he hurt his ankle diving for the pylon during Saturday's preseason game against the Packers. He was not at practice today. No timeline on his injury. Quarterback Tyrod Taylor, he's been nursing the knee injury for a couple weeks now. He had a, quote, little procedure, which was a minor arthroscopic scope of his knee, and we will not see him at all in the preseason. So a bit of a concern there with Tyrod Taylor. He should be healthy for the regular season, but I did want to see what he could do in preseason just to get a glimpse of what the offense will look like should Fields suffer an injury and he had to step up. So we will see a lot more of Adrian Martinez, who did have a pretty solid Saturday, and maybe even a little bit more Brady Cook. However, Brady Cook was carted off the field today in the passenger seat. We need to, make that clear. He was in the passenger seat. He wasn't strapped to the back. He was in the passenger seat, and he hurt his ankle. It was feared to be much worse on the field, and then he went back into the locker room. AG said he should be fine, and it was just a bit of an ankle sprain. There was fear in tweets like Achilles and things of that nature. So it was definitely not a good injury visually, at least from the reports we're seeing from the field. Everything seemed to check out when he went into the locker room with the trainers, and he just has an ankle, and so he should be back. Maybe not this week. Maybe they bring in a camp arm for the week, and Adrian Martinez gets a lot of reps against the Giants in the preseason game, but Brady Cook nursing an ankle. Couple notes from practice. This is mainly going to be our starters versus the Giants starters, and then a little bit of the notes about the second team going up against the Giants second team. Mainly guys who I think are going to be on this roster moving forward. I'm not going to waste my time talking about a guy who is player number 58 on the roster, and he's probably not going to make it on the initial 53. So Justin Fields, from all accounts, started off really hot, 4 for 4 passing. He had a pass to Reynolds, Mason Taylor, and then 2 passes to Braylon Allen, including a really nice wheel route. I believe it was Robbie Sabo describing the wheel route. It was a very pretty ball from Justin Fields. It beat Bobby Okereke, the linebacker, in coverage. So I love Braylon Allen winning one-on-ones, potentially man coverage. We're assuming here man coverage for Braylon Allen deep down the field. I love that. And that's just going to be the bread and butter of this running backs in terms of the pass catching that they're going to be doing this season. So a hot start for Justin Fields. Connor Hughes of SNY, he covers both the Jets and the Giants, so he was there, totaling everything up. 12 of 13 to start for Justin Fields in team period. So a great start there. It cooled off a little bit mid-practice. He went 0 for 4 with 3 sacks during that period of team drills. I'm not going to say it's all Justin's fault or the offensive line is trash. I do think there was a lot of Abdul Carter involvement in those 3 sacks in that specific period. Again, you want to see the Jets have a chance, right? This time during that period, they didn't have a chance. The Giants defensive line just ate it up. So cooled off a little bit in the middle of the practice, and then he ends the day with a very nice sidearm touchdown throw to Jeremy Ruckert. Jeremy Ruckert making an appearance, ladies and gentlemen. I love to see that. I'm not the highest on Jeremy Ruckert this year, so if he can show us anything in the next couple weeks that proves that he's worth being on the 53, I will be super happy with that. So starting off hot, cooling off a little bit in the middle, and then ending on a high note for Justin Fields in the passing offense. There was also a series built into that 12 of 13 where he had 3 straight completions to Garrett Wilson, all versus cornerback Deonte Banks. So I think when it comes to the game this weekend, you should see Garrett Wilson getting more targets. Obviously, I think the ones are going to get more playing time overall, but I want to see Garrett Wilson getting more targets, especially if he's matched up against Banks, because that was a very, very winnable matchup for him, and he took advantage. There was a fourth pass. This is in team drills again, where Justin threw a pass over the middle to Josh Reynolds. It should have been caught. I'm going to put this one on Josh Reynolds. Although Javon Holland had a great punch out. He ran from the single high safety, according to Robbie Sabo, came down on the play and punched out the ball as it got to Josh Reynolds. So I want to see Reynolds displaying stronger hands and not being able to get the ball punched out from him. But great play by Javon Holland, who is a fantastic safety in his own right. So everything seemed really good from Justin in terms of seeing the throws, throwing it, to the open receiver, not hesitating, not, looking off any progressions. So that came with a tweet from Will Parkinson, who said that this might have been one of Justin Fields' better practices. He said it's been 4 sets of plays through 7-on-7 and 11-on-11, and this is about as good as I've seen Fields look. Ball is out fast, pushing it more downfield this set of plays. That's the biggest criticism, right? If you're going to have a criticism about Justin Fields coming out of that Saturday night game against the Green Bay Packers, yes, the throw to the outside to Garrett Wilson was not accurate. It was a little outside the frame, but a lot of people were criticizing him for throwing the checkdowns. And in my opinion, that's just a smart throw. If the deep concept isn't open, you check it down underneath and you get any yards that the defense is going to give you. Now it looks like he's taking it one step further and he's actually pushing the ball a little bit more downfield. So I'm excited to see Justin Fields take advantage of what the defense is going to give him, but also against the secondary like the Giants have, you can take advantage deep downfield as well. So really excited that Will shouted out Fields, saying that this is the best he's seen Fields look. Will has been at most, if not all of these practices, and I would trust his eyes when he says Fields looks as good as he's ever looked. So good notes from Justin Fields in this one. Let's see. We had Braylon Allen. He had a really heady play, according to Zach Rosenblatt. There was a bad snap from Joe Tippmann. This is his first day back at center with John Simpson back in the lineup at left guard. So Simpson had a bad snap, but during team periods, Braylon was able to scoop it and run for a nice gain. So I love the heads-up awareness from Braylon Allen on that play, and I think it just goes to show that this guy's going to be a special piece of our offense moving forward. We had Mason Taylor. He's first day back from a high ankle sprain. I think he missed about a week, 7 or 8 days, and he had a huge diving catch on the sideline from Adrian Martinez. It looked like a corner route based on the video that the Jets team put out on social media. Love seeing Mason Taylor back. Like, this is fantastic news for the Jets. Only a week off the high ankle. I was really concerned that this could be a 3 to 6 week injury potentially. Mason Taylor back out there, picking up right where he left off, back like he never left. This is going to be a huge part of our offense moving forward. And I think if we liked what we saw from Andrew Beck last week against the Packers, we're going to love what we see from Mason Taylor moving forward in this Jets offense. So happy to see Mason picking up where he left off before the injury. And then 2 Adrian Martinez touchdown passes that I wanted to note. Jamal Pritchett caught a touchdown from him in team period. And then Arian Smith during a red zone drill period caught a nice touchdown from Adrian Martinez. So Martinez continuing to build off of his strong performance on Saturday, where I thought he looked better than Brady Cook. Obviously, Brady Cook sustains the ankle injury today. And now that just boosts Martinez's chance to have more reps moving forward, to solidify himself as the quarterback 3, who's probably going to stick on as the practice squad / emergency third quarterback. And I loved what I saw or read, from Adrian Martinez today, building off Saturday. A couple defensive notes real quick. Jay Tufele and Will McDonald looked like they were dominating the first part of team periods for the Jets starters on defense. They were all over Russell Wilson in his first set of plays. And then it looked like Jackson Dart wasn't having success either. So the first and second team defense doing a solid job to start against Wilson and Jackson Dart there. Fedarian Mathis did get into a little bit of a scuffle on back-to-back plays with the Giants players. I don't think they ever announced who the players were for the Giants, but we knew it was big Fedarian Mathis who threw a punch at some of those Giants players on back-to-back plays. So this is kind of the result of a joint practice, right? These guys are hot. It's the middle of August. They're finally hitting somebody who's not their own teammate, and they're not tackling to the ground. They're not doing live tackling during this specific practice session. Maybe they do tomorrow, but things get heated, right? Especially in the trenches. We know how the trenches go. We saw Michael Clemens fight 60% of the Packers offensive line in the game on Saturday. So Fedarian Mathis, getting a little bit of his emotion out on the Giants offensive lineman there. So a little bit of a scuffle, but it didn't turn into anything serious. And then one final note going back to offense, Olu Fashanu looked very good against Kayvon Thibodeau, and Armand Membu had quite a few struggles against Brian Burns. And I'm not going to sit here and act surprised, right? Armand Membu was going to struggle at some point in his rookie career. I'm glad it's in August against one of the top defensive lines in all of football. Obviously, you have Thibodeau, Burns, who I just mentioned, still Dexter Lawrence in the middle, and then you have Abdul Carter, who's doing the Micah Parsons thing and lining up all over the field at the A gap over the center. Tippmann, he's over the guard. He's, hand in the dirt out wide on the edge. He's standing up on the edge. So those guys were going to create havoc today. It seemed like, for the most part, the Jets were able to contain the havoc. There was moments, right, where Fields went 0 for 4 with 3 sacks. The Giants' defensive line is going to get the better of them. That's natural, right? It didn't go as many Jets fans thought, where it was just going to be an onslaught of defensive plays for the Giants against our offensive line. So offensive line did a very good job holding up, and I wanted to shout out Fashanu and Membu specifically because I thought that their jobs were a little bit tougher going against those edge guys. But Abdul Carter, from all intents and purposes, he blew up a lot of plays in practice. There was the nice Tyler Johnson across the middle where Fields scrambles out to his left and throws it to Tyler Johnson on the left sideline. Abdul Carter got to Justin Fields first. He tapped him on the hip. They didn't blow the play dead. It's not, one of those situations where they're immediately going to blow it dead. They're still going to let the play go on. But in a real game situation, Fields would have been sacked. So you got to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but also this was a very good test for the offensive line, and they proved that they can show up and play against some of the best. I want to see that built off of for tomorrow and a little bit more progression from the offensive line, and then carry that over into the game when it really counts and the lights are on at MetLife Stadium on Saturday night. I understand it's a Giants home game, I believe. It is a Giants home game. So it's going to be blue in MetLife Stadium. It's not going to be the Jets green like they're accustomed to, but you're still going to be in your home stadium. You got to take advantage and build off of all those things that you're putting out in practice. Speaking of improving based on practice, Caroline Hendershot, the reporter for the New York Jets, she said during Aaron Glenn's press conference after practice, she tweeted, Glenn said the Jets had an up and down day in the first joint practice against the Giants, added that he saw, quote, true improvement on both sides of the ball. That's huge to me. If you're seeing tangible progressions, tangible improvements in the offense and defense during this portion of training camp, that's just going to keep progressing more toward the regular season. So I love although it's not linear progression, it's not the exact same style of progression every week, it's incremental progression leading to the ultimate goal. So I love that AG said that he is seeing the improvement during practice. Another quick note, Will Parkinson again noted that the screen game for the Jets is vastly improved, and the ability to get Breece and AVT out in space has looked very good. Apparently there was a really good screen pass during practice today. I'm really excited to see Breece Hall as a pass catcher. I'm not putting a lot of stock in his 3 carries for 9 yards against the Packers. We'll go into the film on Thursday, like I said last night on my stream, and we'll really dive into that. I'm excited to see him lined up wide in the slot, used on screens, and get AVT out in space. Even in the run game, get AVT as a puller in front of Breece Hall. We've seen it before, right? In Denver, Breece can break the big one, and a lot of times AVT is leading the way for that. So that the two, AVT and Breece Hall, the combination of the two of them is going to be vitally important for the run game and the screen game. So glad Will shouted them out there. And then one last little note, Jermaine Johnson spoke to the media. He was one of 3 players, I believe, that spoke to the media after practice. They asked if he will be ready for week 1, and his quote said, "I'm ready now." And I'm fired up to get JJ back on the field. I don't know if he participated in any of the team drills today. He might have just been working off to the side along with Quinnen Williams as they get healthy. But this defensive line is going to be healthy entering week 1 based on where it is right now, right? Obviously, things can happen in the next couple weeks, but you have Quinnen back, JJ coming back. Coer is the only one really missing with an ankle injury right now, who's projected as a number 1 as a starter next to Quinnen. So a lot of trench reinforcements. Simpson coming back for the offense is huge. Mason Taylor coming back for the offense is huge. All these guys are going to help the trench play, and that is the bread and butter of this team. So really excited to be trending in a positive direction with the injuries. The Jets have one more joint practice with the Giants tomorrow, so I will be back tomorrow afternoon to recap that on this channel. So shoot me a like on this video. Give me a subscribe. I'm close to 700. I think I'm 7 subscribers away from 700. The ultimate goal is road to 1,000 subs before the season opener against the Pittsburgh Steelers on September 7th. I know we can get there. This community is top notch. You guys are some of the best listeners out there in not just the sports world, but the podcast world in general. The Jets community and their fans are number 1. You guys are my A1 since day 1. I appreciate you all tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow doing a recap video of practice number 2 with the Giants. And then I will be back on Thursday night recapping the 10-play drive from Justin Fields and the starters that resulted in a touchdown. We will go over all 10 plays. I will dump out my notebook for you guys, let you know all my thoughts on these plays, and we'll go over every single thing about that drive. Hopefully, leading into this upcoming game, I will do a recap on Friday or Saturday morning of the Jets-Giants, and that will be pre-recorded. That will not be a live stream. I'm working on trying to figure out live versus non-live for the pre-recorded stuff leading into the games. But for now, you'll see me tomorrow doing a practice recap, Thursday doing a live stream film dive of the Justin Fields drive, and then Friday or Saturday morning, you will see a game preview on this channel. So stay tuned. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm DTereman. One more time, hit the like button, smash that subscribe button. Let's get to 700 and then on to 1,000 subs. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Until next time, let's go Jets.